Queenie Facebook Live at high noon. Hey, Queenie, how are you doing?
Hey Doc, how are you? I
I'm
can't
doing
believe
good.
the weekend's over already, and it's Monday, Monday,
I know
Monday.
it's your favorite day.
Yes, it is. Honestly, one of my coaches, Missy Day, already posted on the Monday thing. I already had a fantastic meeting with the one and only Michelle Cruz on Coffee Club. Got to connect with some amazing people, and here we now get to do Doc and Queenie. So it's perfect day already.
Yes, it is. I actually this morning ran out to the store, which is not my common Monday morning errand thing, but I decided I would get some stuff accomplished. And so, yeah, and this is really exciting. You ready? I got a bathroom rug. And I got handles for the cabinet. Is that not the? So I was at my favorite place, Menards. Spend more money at Menards. That's where I went.
Well, I can't tell you how excited I am for you, Dr. Laura.
I know you are. I can see the I can't even say that enthusiasm,
Uh-huh.
and you're ecstatic, aren't you?
Yes, I seriously am. But I do know for a fact that Menards is one of your actual favorite places.
It is.
And I'm sure they appreciate you for keeping them open. And that is part of your mission, which is lovely. I
Well,
will see
and
them at Christmas time when I always do to see if they have any new cool ornaments.
yes, I know you venture out that way. Well, I was super ecstatic too because I always love to get deals, and today I had 2 coupons. So
Ah,
I
that's
I
cool.
got some major discounts on my new handles. We just have recarpeted and refinished our upstairs. So I basically repainted my cabinets in my bathroom, and now they need new handles.
Well,
So
I'll just say on behalf of everyone in the Doc and Queenie community, if you are happy, dear Doc, we are happy.
thank you, Queenie. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, it's all about handles, Menards, and bathroom rugs.
I mean to tell you, it doesn't take a lot to make you happy, so that's pretty joyful right there. I'm happy because it's Monday. You're happy because you got to go shopping.
Well, I'm not a shopper, but no, I actually got something else off my checklist of things to finish. So now the hardest part will be we have this huge, it's probably 15, 20-foot wall that's behind where the soaker tub is.
Oh,
So I need to put a piece of art up there. And what I want, uh, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can find something.
wow. So are you ready for a drum roll?
I am ready for a drum roll because today is a national day of something, isn't it? And I'm
Boom.
going to try and stay with you there. There you go. Boom. National Pecan Day, National Simplicity Day, different colored eyes. What else we got there? I'm trying to
National
see.
Eat Your Jello Day.
Ah, yes. How can we not forget the green jello mold to those of us whose parents would make us eat green jello?
I have a feeling, Dr. Laura, that you were traumatized in some way by green
I've
jello.
got some PTSD and green jello. I could not find green jello with pears
Oh,
or pineapple in it.
oh no. Oh no. When I saw these days
Now,
pop up, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be such a hard one. I don't know.
of course, they were canned pears, and that means they were mushy on top of the jello. Uh,
Oh my gosh. And then my family took that one step further. My grandmother was incredible in the kitchen. My mother inherited that talent. And then there's me. And so green jello to me was, I don't know what you do, but you whip it or something with cottage cheese and cucumber, with cottage cheese and cucumbers in it. And then you gel that up again. That was not a good fit for me either, but I do remember it, not fondly, I'm sorry to say, but
I,
Nana, my grandmother, was always after how does everything look on the plate. So the presentation for her was a biggie. So all the different color stuff had to be on the plate. And sometimes if a pastel was missing, then that would be her go-to. And I was like, ugh.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, not a good fit for me. And yeah, but I guess you got your sugar and your dairy and your, what
And
is
your
it?
food dyes.
Yeah, all in one shot, plus a veggie thrown in for good measure. And
Yeah.
ugh, yeah, I wonder how we lived through all that stuff.
I don't know. Yeah, no traumas there. Oh, and hey, don't forget today is also the National Brown Bag Day, so I had to get a background.
So that means everybody takes their lunch to work. Is that the deal?
I don't know. Maybe that would be a good one. Or what I do with these, I save them, and well, when my daughter was at college, I would wrap the package that I would send her in that. But now I can't. I've got all these brown bags, so I will probably recycle it, or I use it for gardening in the springtime when I'm cutting a new garden. I lay the brown bags down, or I'll actually put it down in the fall and put rocks or dirt over it to kill the grass.
Wowza. Okay, I was just going to ask you that. You actually, and of course, I'm thinking you're laying it down to do your thing and then take it away, but you leave
Yeah.
it in the ground.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's the weed blocker.
Well, and it actually I use it to kill the grass, and then I cut out the garden. I use it more that, but I do tear it up in little pieces and throw it in the compost pile. So I know that surprises you.
And water, oil and water. Yeah, push a button, have it delivered, or grow it. There you go. Oil and water. Yeah.
But we also have to mention,
Oh, now that's a fond memory.
It's also there's so many national days today. Etch A Sketch.
How
many people out there used to have an Etch A Sketch? Me.
Is that's a good memory, actually. In the car, that was your video game.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh. And there are certain ones of us who learned how to do cursive, and that was a maneuver like cray cray. Instead of
just super hard.
And I got my name handled in cursive on that little puppy. So I think
very impressive there, Queenie.
Thank you so much. I had a lot of time on my hands, apparently. So yeah, but our car trips were Etch A Sketch, because I wasn't even a good sitter back then. As far as doing nothing, did not fit for me. And so I guess I took all my energies into my Etch A Sketch and got cursive handled on there. I remember great pictures.
I know. I remember the Etch A Sketch fondly because we would go on family trips. My grandparents lived in Arkansas and we lived in Chicago. So that was about a 12-hour drive. And my parents had put my sister and I in the back with the Etch A Sketch and our stuffed animals. And everybody else would be sitting, in the white Ford station wagon. I don't even know what but they were it was right before, when the Chevys were doing the round.
Because we had a 55 Chevy black, whatever they were called, but that thing was big enough that you could literally launch in that thing, because you could stand up in the back seat and walk around, and it was really huge. We called her Nellie Bell, and I remember all the time, go get Nellie Bell, we'll be there in a second, kind of thing. And then along came, I'm trying to think what was next, because there were 4 of us plus 2 parents. So that would be, you kind of needed space. I think after that, we went into Lincolns and other things with big backseat things, but you got to have the cool Ford station wagon.
We had the Ford station wagon. That was the first station wagon. We went from that to the green Chevy one, to the frosty blue, I guess you could say, Caprice station wagon, which I actually bought from my dad my first year, or actually my junior year in high school, and had that until I graduated from college. And that was fun because you could put all your friends in that. It was really fun.
Were you cool enough to have wood grain sides on that?
No, but my in-laws way back when, I hate to admit this, my in-laws probably 25 years ago, we were living in Iowa and we had a car breakdown. And my husband's dad is a car guy. And so they took it upon themselves to go out and buy us a car. And it was a Crown Vic maroon panel siding V8 tow package, 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, baby.
I knew that was coming.
All electric seats, and it was the plush, whatever that is. plush fake. But
Oh
oh my
my
gosh,
goodness.
but it was horrible in snow, and we lived on a snow line, I-80 in Iowa. Snow, snow, snow. I could do a donut without trying on that one, and that was not intentional. It did not have any traction because it was too heavy. So I
Oh,
wouldn't go out when it would snow. I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die."
well,
But
especially with your 0 to 60 reputation.
but it fit perfect. The kids were little, 3 car seats all the way across.
Yeah, well,
And
and
that's
think about that too. I actually even know that from my kids. If you've got one car seat and a brand new bucket thing or whatever those are called for the newborns, you've got to have a back seat that's going to keep them from killing each other. And then with you
yes.
having 3 kids, that adds a new component. So I understand that.
Yeah, I used to take it in for oil changes, and the people that had it before us, it was one owner, and the guy shined the engine, and I would always get, "This is the cleanest engine." And I'm like, "Yeah, wait until I'm done with it."
Oh my
But
gosh.
unfortunately, the transmission blew, and it was cheaper to go buy a new car than it was to replace it. But no, yeah, that had panel siding.
Wow. Well, actually, certain people who shall remain completely nameless here, right, decided that I actually love a clean, perfect, flawless kind of car. And so I thought, you know what? I think I know how to open the hood on this little thing. So I opened the hood and took one of those power washers from the car wash to clean the engine.
Yeah.
Of course, after I was through cleaning the engine, because I thought that was such a great idea to keep the car all,
Uh-oh.
I must have dislodged many of the hoses that hooked to stuff on purpose. And that puppy wouldn't start for anything. And I thought, now that's bizarre. You come in to clean your engine to make everything all shiny new and it won't start. So, of course, by the time I called everybody and their mother to come over, they go, "How did this get unhooked?" "I don't know." "How did this get come off?" "I don't know." All of these things, I literally had blown the hoses with that spraying thing. And so needless to say, I have no idea what kind of engine my everything looks as far as dirt, but I learned a lesson not to do that again.
That's good. I'm glad you learned a lesson there,
Yeah,
Queenie.
because I wanted a clean engine and I figured that's how people get clean engines. Apparently, it's a little more intricate than that. And so I don't actually care now if my engine is shiny clean anymore. Yeah,
So,
there's a lot of times I'm not allowed in a car wash, and I think that's probably one of the reasons.
because you're telling them what to do, perhaps?
Yeah, that could be part of it.
Making suggestions, I mean? No, making
Yeah,
suggestions.
that could be part of it. A little suggestion here, this is not nail friendly, and this needs a little, yeah, I'm not allowed a lot of places now.
Oh, I'll have to make sure I remember that.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
check.
sure.
I like to make
Yeah.
a reservation for lunch. Have you ever heard of Kathy Weaver?
Never say Queenie, never, never. They'll know who it is. Oh my gosh, the things that we learn and the traumatic pieces of this. One of the things I was noticing on this doc for today is National Different Colored Eyes Day. And I guess I never, first of all, knew it was a thing, but I'm not even sure.
I don't think I know anybody with
I
different
was
colored
just going to
eyes.
say, so if anybody in our community actually knows a person, or if you are a person who has 2 different colored eyes, I think that's actually cool.
It's kind of
I
cool,
always,
yeah.
I always wanted green eyes my whole life. Didn't happen actually, but because I thought brown was boring. And so, but when I saw this picture, I went, she really does. She's got a gorgeous brown eye and a gorgeous blue eye. And I guess I never knew that was a thing.
Yeah. And I don't mean this to, of course, the first thing that I think of with two different colored eyes, we had a husky and it had a blue
Oh,
eye and a brown eye, which it was cool too with the dogs, but
now do all Huskies have that? Is that their
no.
trait? Okay.
Not all huskies, some are all blue.
Okay.
I don't know about all brown, but when we were, and this was growing up, the huskies where we got them, they had one of each, so it was kind of weird looking, but cool.
Yeah, I do think it's
Weird.
cool. And once again, to be different is kind of fun. I was excited. I was left-handed. I'm excited now. I was not excited back then. So, but the two, and see, and anyone in our community that does have or knows someone, that would be fun to notice. And then the next one says National Simplicity Day, which is interesting on a Monday that people would be into the simplistic piece of our world, which kind of takes us back to the brown bag part. In the olden days, you took your lunch to work.
Right.
You did not go out all these places. 10 or 12 bucks at lunch was like, oh my gosh, don't ever do that. And now it's like, how do you not do that. And because now it's up in the 20s. And some of the girls have said before, oh, $18 for a hamburger, that's reasonable.
Wow.
And you think about that and go, that didn't happen in the olden days.
Dare I show my 25 years of age?
Go
I
ahead.
used to be able to feed my family of 5 on under $10.
Yes,
And now,
absolutely true.
like you're saying, if you go out for a burger or whatever, a salad is $10. And
Absolutely.
you're not putting meat in there yet,
Mhm.
you know?
And I love that when they offer the salad, and then if you want anything on it,
Right.
that's
It's another $3
$4.
or $4. Yeah.
And now you've got a $35 salad, and I'm just
Yeah.
going, something's wrong with this picture.
Was it good?
Yeah, it better be for that kind of money. But Simplicity Day, and that to me, it takes you back to simplistic thoughts. Everything now is so automated, certainly, but the bigger issue is what happens when, because some of our locations had storms this past weekend, and what happens when the power goes out? Well, your life is basically over. You can't this, you can't something, you can't this, you can't open your garage door, you can't turn on your sprinkler system, you can't what? And so all of these things really have been, during the storm time, have been interesting for a lot of people. And it's the things that you don't think about, but simplistic. Go sit on the patio and wait till the storm passes. Is any of that going to be a problem?
Well, we had our power go out for 3 hours actually this past week. I don't know if it was storm related,
Okay.
but it's right around dinner time, and I for a second it was like it's waiting, and I'm like, okay, well, let's have dinner. So we had dinner, and then it was exactly like, what can I do now? So I went out. We're still getting everything together on our upstairs, so I cleaned out my linen closet in the dark.
See, look at there. But talk about innovative once again. If it's dark out, open the windows. I mean, if the power is out, open the windows and let the light come shining through. And it really is a funny thing when you think about the simplistic piece. We don't do simplistic anymore. Mm-mm. Everything is a cord or a headset or an automated this or something that. And then I have been in smart kitchens recently, and I am talking high tech, talk to your appliances, make them go thing. And I'm looking at this whole scenario going, what kind of bandwidth must a house have to be able to tell the coffee maker from upstairs, time to brew? And I'm just like, OMG. And I think about that and I realize old school, I understand, but I'm not sure I'm feeling that one. And I saw actually a car that parallel parks in person.
I've seen that.
And I just thought, I don't know if it's a good fit for me.
I have enough trouble with Alexa. We bought a bunch of Alexas, when it first became popular, and I keep asking her if she loves me, and she doesn't know how to answer that question.
Oh.
So I figure if she can't answer that question, I don't really need her.
I don't need my self-esteem messed up any worse than it is. So yeah, Alexa would hurt my feelings.
Well, and simplicity, Queenie, I was thinking about that as, we kind of cheat ahead of time because we love this national day of whatever.
Uh-huh.
I teach simplicity in my business with the eating and the gardening and the naturopathy, and your business is very simple too. You've got a lot of simple training tips with networking and with the water. I mean, you can't get any more simple than drinking water. It's a healthy thing to do.
That's one of the things that we actually did on the training call. Thank you for bringing that part up. The first Tuesday of the month is when we get to do a water workshop, which simply means come ask questions, learn about some of the nuances within your own device with Kangen water. And so one of the people on the call actually asked, what happens when the power goes out? How do I get my Kangen water? Well, in Kansas and perhaps Missouri, Iowa, all of those around the Midwest, when a storm happens, sometimes you get zero notice. But even when you do get even a scooch of notice, the first thing on your mind is probably not to make a gallon or two of Kangen in case you're going to be without power for a while.
Right.
But you still can have filtered water even when the power is out and your device is turned off and unplugged. So we went through some of those nuances, and it was just interesting to see. A lot of the people didn't know that, even though obviously we talk about that during training. but it's just a matter of you're never without your water, even when the power goes out. And those are the things that I think a lot of people maybe don't think about. And then
Right.
what happens with power surge, boom, when all the power does come back on, you're turning on Google, Alexa, every streaming thing you've got, every TV that was left on, every single everything goes kaboom in your house, all your smart appliances and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, wowza, that must be a
Well,
nightmare.
and I pulled the plug on the machine knowing that, you know, we would get the surge when everything went on. Because
Absolutely.
I'm like, that's an investment on the water machine. Don't want to blow it out. Thank you very much.
Yes. And that's a lot of people don't think of that because as soon as the power does go out, needless to say, I do unplug my devices. But the bigger issue is the power surge is always my thing because the motherboard on some of the actual appliances can't handle that.
Right.
And so that's an interesting thing in the Midwest, especially it seems like for storms. I do know some of my angels in Las Vegas, they must be baking right now. Baking. Now, obviously, they live in Vegas. They understand the desert conversation, but some of those girls have said, holy moly, it is like sweltering.
And is that coming our way?
Well, it does seem like we've got some storms the end of the week, I think, but it is going to heat up a little. 60
Yeah,
degrees.
because today it's actually when I woke up, it was in the 60s, which was kind
Yeah.
of weird. And still had my sweatshirt on, you know,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird. So
Yeah.
why? What? Yeah, usually our grass is gone by now. So
Yeah.
I have a question, Queenie. Is it National Pecan Pie Day or is it National Pecan Pie Day? How do you pronounce it?
Well, for me, I don't eat pecans, I eat pecans. Therefore, if the pecans are going in the pie, for me, it would be pecan pie. So
Okay.
the whole topic is actually still a little on the on the sweet side.
It's a little too sweet for you. I'm not a big pecan or pecan pie person.
Yeah, I have had it, and that's a lovely, what do you call it, alternative to pumpkin at Thanksgiving. But it is never something I would just sit and eat because it really is a little too. I'm sorry to ask this out loud, but what is the filling stuff? Because I imagine that's
brown sugar, and I think there's some butter in there. And
yeah.
some
Okay, so
pecans.
it's a little too much that way for the sweet, but I didn't know what the goo was, and that's when I thought, OMG. So,
Have you ever had, Queenie? Have you ever had pecan tassies? They're little minis. Have you ever had those?
it does not sound familiar to me, Dr. Laura.
Well, you just never know, because that was one of our. My mother was a fantastic cook and baker, and she would do.
What is that? A cookie
It's
or
like a mini. It's a mini pecan pie, really.
oh,
And I actually like those. I don't like the pecan pie because it's too sweet. But the little versions, it must be there's a lot of dough. It's like the pecan pie is in the middle of the dough. They come in mini muffin sizes.
Okay.
And it's basically the same ingredients.
Yeah.
So,
no, that my grandmother actually made the mini versions of a lemon meringue pie. I do remember that.
wow.
Because those,
a lot of work.
Oh my gosh, but we had to go with the color thing, remember, for the presentation. And so all these little things were sprinkled around the tray to make everything look appealing. She literally was.
Did she do checkerboard cookies? Because my mother did the checkerboard cookies.
Oh my gosh, yes.
With the cookie gun, and then swirls. Yeah.
I don't want to make you crack up too much. I inherited the cookie gun.
Wow. Do you still have it?
No, I'm looking at this and going, if I can't identify it, it's out of here. And so I did a feng shui, everything out of the house. I don't know how to work. And that was definitely on the list. But I saw that, and you literally, that's what she would do. You shoot a little square of this, a little square of this, and this can't touch, and this has to be even. And I'm going, you know what? And then to have all these people come in the house and just pop it in their mouth, and the tray was gone in 10 seconds.
It's gone in seconds, all that work. Yes.
No, that is not a good fit for me. And there are people that are great at attention to detail, and then there's me. So,
It's but not your gift. You have gifts in other areas.
Thank you, Dr. Laura. Yeah.
You're welcome, Queenie.
Yeah. Some of the things I inherited from that lady, and all these little cake decoration things, and all. She really was ahead of her time, and she was magazine worthy with her displays of her tables. But then I just thought, and I'd see all these people come into her house. They lived in a big house out in Leawood, and I'd see all these people come flocking from everywhere for these big family events. And the table was gorgeous. The tablecloth had a little lace tulle thing over the top that she had, what is that called? Like there would be a Christmas tree and she sewed that on with diamonds and stuff all over it.
Yep.
OMG. And then literally gone in 1 second. And then of course I was on the cleanup crew. So we were doing
Yep.
dishes because you couldn't put china in the dishwasher. Hello.
Right.
And
That's exactly my childhood, Queenie. My mom probably would have gotten, you know, you and your grandma and my mom would have gotten along together.
oh my gosh. And I saw that stuff and I thought, I'm not thinking this is a good fit for me. And I even knew back then that was not my gift. So that's why when I get invited places, I'm in charge of plates and cups.
So I've heard.
So
I'll have to try that out sometime.
I know that's my gift. Napkins, maybe chips, possibly, but that's what I bring. Because I think of pecan, as you say, and the simplistic part of this. It's one of those things. Like you said, everyone does have their gift, and I bet you are so awesome in the kitchen, and your family is a foodie family, as you have mentioned before, and then several of us don't have that.
Now, when I'm home, I do cook, but I'm never home. So it's once in a while. More on the weekends.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
we are a foodie.
that's
What?
probably why you like Friday at 5 o'clock, because then you do
Yes.
do the foodie part.
Yes. Yeah, and we actually didn't start as foodie families, but as a foodie family, but we became a foodie family when I got sick because our choices became limited if you look at it from a negative, I guess you could say, angle, but it opened up a whole new world to food and different types of food and different ways to do things a little more healthy. So
So
yeah.
on that note, since you found things that you were able to do differently than how you had done it when you were newly married and new kids and all that stuff, what is one of the coolest things that you actually have accomplished during that time? What's your favorite go-to as far as health and wellness?
What is my favorite go-to? Well, speaking of simplicity, I love fooling around with smoothies,
Okay.
um, that kind of thing. Well, in simplicity, everything I do, I try to make it super simple. For example, last night I do a lot of times, I do a sheet pan dinner, and you basically chop up veggies. Last night we decided to put chicken in it. Sometimes I just do all vegetables, which I know you would love because you
I
are
would be
not a
all
big
over
chicken fan. I know you like turkey, but I'm not
that.
sure if you like chicken.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I was gonna say
I
not
can
really,
believe that.
but I like to keep it simple. And then my husband and I were actually just talking. I just pulled the garlic the other day, which I haven't posted about it yet, but it's in the garage drying, and I'm getting ready to start making my garlic powder. So, and
Oh,
because we are using store-bought organic garlic powder, and it's still not the same. The taste is bland. There is a difference coming out of the garden.
oh,
So, but I like to
on that order, I have a
keep.
question. You have mentioned before that even when you're harvesting your garlic, the smell is phenomenal as far as the sooner you pick it, it's spicier than the longer it sits around.
At least
So,
the stuff that we've got, that it seems to be that way. Uh-huh.
so
Yes.
when you
As it
make
ages,
powder right now, you're going to get spicier powder than when you
no,
wait.
no, it's funny. It must be the just the drying process.
Okay.
No, it's you might lose a little bit of the garlic flavor if it was older garlic, and older garlic for us would probably be 6 months down the road.
Okay.
But no, right now it's going to be real sharp and garlic flavor. I mean, you can tell it's garlic. I mean, and if you put it against a store bought, it's amazing the difference. It's just amazing.
Okay. So does that mean they use fillers in it for real?
So I don't know. I would hope not, but if you're buying just a common brand off of the shelf, I always try to look for organic, and I also go to stores that might vet a little more. Like one of my favorite stores is Natural Grocers. They vet everything because they are all about keeping food as, if you want to say, as pure as possible. So I know that I do my research on brands that they are really, sustainable, organic. They're putting in a lot of practices that are healthy for us. instead of spraying everything. So,
All right. So, Dr. Laura, we've danced around the subject a little bit, but I
uh-oh.
happen to know from some of your pictures that you have been working for a while on a steel garden box. Tell us about that, because Kitchen Garden Expert has been on the move.
And I'm waiting for my computer so I can actually post a picture of my steel box, and I forgot to load it down here. Well,
When
yes,
we talk slowly, we understand why.
well, I actually just finished one last night, and it's actually the second time I've gone around with it. I'll just pop this up here while I look for I did take a picture, which I forgot to post. Um, and I actually about 3-4 months ago started building one, and I have a certain way that I build things, and I just was not happy with the way it was going. Because it's steel, you can't, yeah, once you drill a hole in the steel, that's it. You cannot make a mistake. The way I had put it together, I had screws, and I had I screw most of the stuff together. I had screws sticking out all over the place, and I thought, oh, that would be really nice to have your hand rip off as you're reaching into the garden
Oh
to
my
get
gosh.
produce.
Oh my gosh.
So, actually, I really thought that I had sent myself this. I bet you I didn't. So I had to reconfigure it, and so I spent yesterday working on that, basically all day, which actually that's kind of my zen too, is to be
Oh, I
working,
bet.
trying to figure things out. And
Well,
I'm
and
waiting.
you mentioned the weather. I bet you get to work in your garage for some of this. Yesterday was almost, now I was not freezing, needless to say, but I was outside tearing apart the front yard, and it was lovely from a standpoint of not hot.
No,
And
it was perfect. It
yeah,
was perfect. Yeah, I do work in my garage a lot. Oh, here it is. I never sent it to myself. So hang
yeah.
on just a second.
But I really do. I think that that is one of those things. The weather yesterday and today to be in the 60s and 70s in July is just like, are you kidding me? Because a lot of times this is at least 80s and 90s, and sometimes the big three digits, and it's like, OMG, this is a lot.
Yes. Yes. Oh, there it is. Okay, I found the picture. Not there yet.
Okay.
No, it was beautiful. It was beautiful yesterday. And I did work in the garage. It actually rained for a few minutes, and which cooled things down even more. It was almost kind of chilly, really, when I was working.
So my brain instantly goes to weather with a steel garden. Does this rust?
No, this does not rust. It is a galvanized, uh, it's a sheet of steel, that we build a frame around, but it's galvanized, which means it will not rust.
Wow.
So, this is, and the thickness they have, this is an 18 gauge, I do believe, thickness. So it's pretty thick too. I had talked to actually the place that I went to. It's called Metal Marketplace, and they are out of Olathe. And I talked to the gentleman that was the owner and kind of described, because he was kind of looking at me funny, like, okay, what are you doing here? And oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to talk and get this up, and it's not working, Queenie. But he was really helpful. But we basically figured on the steel to be able to hold the soil in, because the box that I built, that I'm going to show you a picture here if I ever can find it, I've got probably 400 to 500 pounds of dirt in
Oh
it.
my gosh.
And of course that pushes on the sides. So the steel is pretty hefty,
Well, and I was
pretty,
going to
pretty heavy
say you
duty.
have to be sturdy to be able to handle that. And then I'm instantly thinking in terms of the rain and then the contents of the garden that you're planting, that turns out to be obviously bigger, bigger, bigger. So I would imagine the weight would be extensive.
Yeah, it is. Okay, let's see if I can actually,
Oh my
this is,
God.
here's some different angles. Of course, if I'm backed up, I'm on the ground. Here, let's do this. So you can kind of see it. I still have to work on my picture there, but it's basically
That is amazing.
a cedar frame that's built around, and I have to attach the steel to the frames also on the inside. So this baby is not going anywhere. It's heavy to start with.
That
And
is
then,
incredible.
and I don't know if you can really tell, but I oil the wood now because I like that extra layer of waterproofing. So yeah, we're super excited about this. It just gives me another option.
Oh, and I
Um,
think that's incredible. And your clients, do you need a client with a larger space, or does it actually not matter? You can
It
do a,
doesn't matter. It
okay.
does not matter. For clients, I've built small. The smallest I've built was 3x2, which is 3 feet
Uh,
long, two
okay.
feet wide. And actually that one was an elevated garden. So that was 30 inches high. I've built 8x4s, and I put 8x4s together, which of course that makes it 16 feet long by 4 feet wide. And
Yeah.
then everything is 2 to 2.5 feet deep. So we try to stay in that range. Sometimes it's funny because when you go to the lumber store and you say, I want to buy a 2x4, it really is not 2x4. It's like 1 5/8 by, 3 5/8 or something like that.
That
So,
would make me crazy.
yeah,
I asked for 2x4. I by golly went
yeah,
2x4.
yeah. And then we cut off the ends of the wood to make everything as even as possible. I do have difficulty with the cedar because the way they dry it, sometimes it bows. And so I have my little mini fits, like you can see the trim here, the corner trim. It'll look straight when I'm attaching it. And then I get it out to the clients and it's just doing a little slight, and you're like, so, there's not much you can do, really. Don't, and those are thin. Those are an inch thick. So they're, you don't want to break it in order to make it look perfect.
Yeah.
So, but it's going to have the wear and tear, and it's going to have the give because of all the weight of the soil. And then when it
So
rains,
when you
that
said that you
saturates.
do 2.5 feet deep, that's because of the weight of the dirt.
I'm sorry, I missed part of your question there.
You said that you have 2.5 feet deep is the traditional part for your garden boxes. Is that because of the weight of the dirt, or how deep you want the root system to go?
I want the root system to go as deep as possible. And with a deeper garden bed, you can have more vertical plants, which means you can put more in a small space. Because I do intensive planting, and I rotate we'll call them crops. I rotate the vegetables, the fruits and vegetables and herbs, depending on the season. But because they've got all of this room to grow down, they actually get stronger and they go taller instead of spread out. And best example here is in Kansas City, because we have clay and we have to constantly amend the soil to get it just right. In the boxes, I put a proprietary blend of soil mix in there, and off you go. You don't have to fool around with anything. But the depth definitely makes a stronger plant that grows more vertical. And then some of the garden boxes, we do put a trellis on. And I've grown tomatoes on trellises. This spring we did snap peas on it. Those are of course viney plants. You can get some tomato plants that vine per se, but this is not a great picture. But that's Miss Grace's garden. That's an 8x4, but you can see the trellises. So, and then if you look in the background, you can see her. This was probably in March. End of March. Those are her snap peas. So yeah, everything that we do is, I guess you could say, calculated. I mean, because it has to be, because we want the best result for the clients. And I've experimented on myself and my gardens to get the best product, and the best value for
As I was
everybody.
mentioning my grandmother and the attention to detail every time she would prepare a table, you're doing exactly the same thing with your garden beds, Doc. Do you notice that? You seriously have the planning, the color, the height, the depth, all this stuff. This is a big deal, and I hope that you're super proud of your success. Because
I'm learning every time it's a learning curve, and it's always a learning curve. It doesn't matter how many years you've been doing it, right? I mean, you learn stuff all the time,
all the
and you're
time,
always constantly changing your training and
all the
new
time.
books and et cetera, et cetera. But no, I'm having a blast, and it's fun to try a new material and try and figure out the puzzle. I'm a puzzle put her together anyways, by the way I'm trained with the naturopathy, and now I'm trying to figure out how can I do a steel bed and still make it look like all of my other gardens. So it's not perfect, but it's, it's functional. It's been tested out. It's, yeah, I'm having a blast. How about you?
I can tell that you are, and I seriously love that for you, because that's why as soon as you were talking about the trellis and the this and the something, that is exactly what my grandmother did for her gorgeous tables. You're doing that for your gorgeous garden beds, and it's such a cool thing how a thought in your head has taken off to this level of success. I really mean it. Congratulations. This is very, very big.
Well, and you know how it is, Queenie, like with your trainings, you're training on networking and social networking, and there's all these pieces, and you're famous for saying, oh, I just, I'm pushing buttons and figuring things out, but that's how you get to where you're at.
Yeah.
Any of us that have businesses and what we do, and it kind of swings back around to the simplicity part.
Yes.
I think simplicity is efficiency.
Oh, I do
you
too.
You can be efficient and simple.
Absolutely.
And simple doesn't, or being efficient doesn't mean that you have to be complicated. Maybe that's the way to say it. And that's actually what I teach all the time with the naturopathy and the soul, body, spirit. A simple thing can change your health, like we talk about with water.
Yes. And one thing that we always emphasize, of course, is duplication. If I go into the hydrogen-rich water technology piece of these lifelong devices, everybody's like, but if I say all you have to drink it, then all of a sudden they go, well, I can do that. And yes. Yeah, simplicity is a big deal for sure.
Yes, definitely. So there's my favorite picture. What do you think?
Yes, I know it is.
In July.
Yeah, we still are in July for sure. And the bad news is we are through for today with Doc and Queenie. I know, but the good news is there are so many National Day ofs today. And as you can see, those of you in the community still watching and definitely on the replay, it's just so fun to see National Day of, because I think someday there's going to be a National Doc and Queenie Day. What do you think, Doc?
Oh, that's too much responsibility, Queenie. Then I can't goof around as much as I do.
Yeah, well, that would do it. That would do it for sure. But I do appreciate so much everyone that joined us today. Doc, I think it's time for you to take us home.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on Doc and Queenie Facebook Live at
Hi,
New. I was going too fast. Didn't know if you caught the clue there, Queenie. But thank you for joining us. We appreciate the camaraderie and the friendship and the networking and everything this is. We've been having a blast. We hope you enjoy listening to us. And if not, I'm sorry. But check us out at kathyweaverkc.com or kitchengardenexpert.com. And then we're on all the social media platforms of the same names. Reach out. We love questions or just love connecting. Until next time, for Doc and Queenie Facebook Live, we will see you next Monday, unless we see you at our Bible trivia on Thursday night at 7. Take care, everyone. Thank you, Queenie.
Thank you, Doc. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.